The spring soil of Shandong was cool beneath Li Wei's calloused hands, but the air in 1899 carried a new, metallic scent. It came from the river where hulking foreign steamships, their chimneys belching black smoke, patrolled waters that had once known only fishing junks and poets' barges. Li straightened his aching back, his gaze following a line of German soldiers marching across a neighboring field. One soldier drove a post into the earth, marking it for the railway they were building. Land's owner, Old Man Feng, stood silently, his resignation a deeper wound than any protest. Later, in the village square, a missionary in black robes spoke of a foreign god, his translated words clashing with the temple bell's familiar chime. Li felt a cold fury settle in his gut. His own harvest was already halved by unfair taxes, his country's sovereignty bartered away in treaties he could not read. The dragon of China was weakening, its scales pierced by foreign steel and foreign words, and Li's quiet resentment mirrored the land's silent scream. The meeting was held in a moonlit clearing, a secret heartbeat in the dark hills. Men gathered around a crackling fire, their shadows dancing like ancient warriors. Li Wei stood at the edge, his pulse quickening as a boxer leader stepped into the firelight. The man moved with a fluid, powerful grace, demonstrating a martial form that was both prayer and combat. He chanted, his voice a low rumble as he performed rituals, drawing symbols in the air and on his skin, believed to render flesh impervious to foreign bullets. He spoke of driving out the foreign devils and their influence, of restoring China's rightful harmony. His words ignited a memory in Lei, his grandfather's tales of a stronger, prouder empire. The cold fury in Li's gut warmed into a fierce, burning resolve. As the fire snapped, sending embers skyward, Li made a silent vow, not just to the rebellion, but to the small plot of earth where his ancestors slept. He would join the harmonious fists, he would protect that land. Smoke stung Li Wei's eyes as the mission compound burned. He stood with his boxer brothers, watching flames consume the cross-topped roof. Around him lay the unsettling silence after violence. His hands, which had moments before helped batter down the gate, now felt heavy and unclean. He had seen the terrified faces of the Chinese converts inside, their faith making them targets. The righteousness he had felt in the clearing curdled into a sour confusion. Was this protecting harmony or merely spilling Chinese blood? Days later, validation arrived with a breathless messenger. The Qing court, after months of hesitation, had issued an edict of support. They were no longer rebels, but righteous militia. Li felt a surge of grim triumph, yet the unease remained, a pebble in his spirit's shoe. It grew as he stood beside torn-up railway tracks, foreign steel twisted like dead serpents by a roaring crowd. His personal resentment had been forged into the weapon of organized resistance, but he wondered at the shape of the blade. The long march north ended at the walls of Beijing in the sweltering summer of 1900. Li Wei's unit, a ragged mix of boxers and imperial soldiers, joined the tightening cordon around the foreign legation quarter. The siege began not with a grand charge, but with a tense, claustrophobic squeeze. From behind makeshift barricades of sandbags and overturned carts, Li experienced combat as a series of sharp cracks and stifling weights. Supplies dwindled, the smell of unburied horses and gunpowder hung thick. During a lull, crouched in the ruins of a shop, Li overheard two Qing officers arguing in hushed, urgent tones about strategy and the folly of their alliance, revealing deep fractures within their own ranks. He stared across the bullet-swept square at the barricaded legation buildings, their windows dark. He wondered if the foreigners inside, huddled and fearful, felt the same helpless dread he had known watching the steamships on the Shandong River. As dusk fell, a new sound rolled across the city, the deep, distant thunder of cannon fire from the east, hinting at a world about to change. The distant thunder became a storm that broke Beijing's walls. International troops poured through the breaches, their disciplined volleys cutting through the boxers' defiant chants. In the chaotic retreat, a searing pain erupted in Li Wei's leg. He stumbled into the skeleton of a burnt-out shop, clutching his wound as the rebellion collapsed around him. From his hiding place, he watched foreign soldiers methodically secure the streets and Qing banners being torn down. The silence that followed was heavier than the gunfire. Weeks later, hobbling through a city occupied by 8 foreign armies, Li learned the terms of the Boxer Protocol, a crushing indemnity, foreign troops permanently stationed in the capital, monuments to humiliation. Despair threatened to drown him, yet gazing at the enduring city walls, a stubborn ember of hope refused to die. The uprising had failed, but the longing it expressed for a China free from domination remained unextinguished. Li vowed to remember. This was not an end, but a bitter lesson written in blood, a prelude to a longer struggle.